Joining me now is Congressman Ron DeSantis of Florida, a key member of several committees, including Foreign Affairs, Judiciary, and Oversight. He's also a member of the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, good to see you. Nobody would begrudge the people of Puerto Rico after everything they've been through of anything they need. But if officials are getting rich with aid that's supposed to go to people who are starving, who are hungry, who deserve relief, that's a crime. That needs to be stopped. How do we monitor that?
Well, you're right. It not only is wasting tax dollars, it's stealing from the hurricane victims in Puerto Rico. We saw this corruption after Katrina in places in New Orleans with a corrupt mayor. Unfortunately, in Puerto Rico, you've had a lot of corruption in the government for a long time. So I think that the administration should absolutely be very forward-leaning in policing that. If you can hold somebody accountable very publicly and very directly, I think that may deter others from taking a similar course. And it's just a tragic situation that some of those supplies aren't going to people who've really had their whole lives turned upside down. But there's just people who just don't get it in our society, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and let's be specific about how it all happened. I mean, the bloated bureaucracy that existed in Puerto Rico for decades, literally, was a result of the welfare state. They had all the benefits of a welfare society without all of the responsibilities that are entailed in providing those services to the public. And the governor's trying to change things. Governor Rosillo is trying to change things, but he's only been in there for, I guess, a little less than a year, and it takes a long time. In the meantime, billions of dollars of aid are going in to a corrupt system. It's a tough thing to handle.
Well, you also had in 2008 to 2012, Luis Fortuño, Republican governor, was very reform-minded. He was instituting reforms. Then he lost a narrow election in 2012. And so we had 4 years where there really wasn't much done to deal with any of the problems at the government. Now I think this governor is trying to do that. But you're right. There's been so many problems that have built up year after year that it's a tough situation. Yeah. But put aside the hurricane, which is obviously very difficult circumstances, the fiscal situation there was really disastrous. And so this is really, I think, a time for the leaders in Puerto Rico to say, you know what, we've got to do this a better way. I think the governor's trying to do that.
I want to talk about the fiscal situation regarding the whole country and our taxes. The president, of course, he's going to have trouble with the Democrats. They're labeling his tax reform plan just for the wealthy, which, of course, is ridiculous. But even a lot of Republicans, under the guise of deficit reduction, are suggesting that you know, they couldn't possibly accept it under certain circumstances. Here is Senator Corker talking about this on National Public Radio a couple of days ago. Take a listen.
Unless it reduces deficits, let me say that one more time, unless it reduces deficits and does not add to deficits with reasonable and responsible growth models, and unless we can make it permanent, I don't have any interest in it.
I don't have any. I mean, the American people have a lot of interest in it. They have a big stake in it. The arrogance of saying, I don't have any interest in it unless it's everything I want. I mean, that's not the way you get stuff done, is it?
That is the swamp speaking. That is what the voters are so frustrated about, to try to put up any roadblock you can to prevent this president from succeeding. That is not what our voters sent us here to do. Our voters sent us here to get things done and to help the president pass this key tax reform. Here's the thing, though, David. These guys don't complain. The establishment Republicans, they don't complain about deficits when they're spending like drunken sailors.
They've been there. They've been there for years, and the deficit has gone up, up, up.
Why not do a really bold tax cut, a really bold tax reform, and then pair that with reductions and limits on domestic spending? There's no reason a Republican Congress couldn't do that, but it's telling the people who are opposing tax reform because of deficits, they're not willing to deal with our spending problem.
Well, I'll give you a reason why they don't want to do it, and that's partly because of the swamp itself. I'm told that lobbyists are just going nuts inside the Beltway, that they're knocking on every door in Congress. We had Congressman Meadows in from your Freedom Caucus saying that just yesterday morning he had 4 groups of lobbyists in to talk about how they wanted to save their particular deductions. Are you getting the same knocks on your door?
The estimate is there's going to be $1 billion spent in lobbying on this tax bill because we have a 70,000-page tax code. It didn't get that way by accident. There are a lot of perks. There are a lot of special interest giveaways in there. But here's the thing. We have a chance to really do something that will lay a good foundation for economic growth for our country into the future. Yes, the market's done good. Yes, there's sentiment, optimism because of this president. But if we don't provide this foundation, we're not going to be able to grow 3.5% consistently. So yes, that's happening. That's how the swamp works. This is a chance for Republicans to rise above that and do what's best for taxpayers rather than do what's best for Washington's interests.